there's always a chance to talk to people everywhere we go. And with these conventions and everything, we get face to face with all these people who are working on all these brand new animated shows.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Marc Morrell. Previously, episode 1424 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. That happened in 2017, and then we got to meet face to face in 2018. Again, that was just amazing on June 2018, which puts us around 2 years, 2 months, 6 days, and 22 hours and 15 minutes since we last recorded our first conversation, right? But there's so much that Marc does surrounding two things, I believe, most important. Let's Voltron and Toonban. Let's hear what's the update. Let's hear what's going on in his world, right? So what's up?
How are you doing?
I'm great, Marc. I'm really great. What about you? There's a ton of things going on with you guys. The 6th anniversary, right, just happened.
Yes,
right?
We just finished our 6th anniversary. We're going into our 7th year, and we'll be hitting our 200th episode pretty soon.
Oh, sweet. So 6th anniversary is there. How are things looking? Definitely you've passed the 5-year mark, right? That you said you set for. How does it feel?
Well, it feels great. I have to say, even though there's no current Voltron show in production right now, I really feel that the Voltron fan base has never been stronger. So I'm excited about that. We had for our very first time, just this past October, our very first Voltron convention called VoltCon in Indianapolis, Indiana.
How was that?
That was exciting. I mean, when you have the very first convention of anything, okay, it's going to be small, all right, because you really don't know, how much you can handle, how many people are going to show up. You just have to do the best you can. And what they set out to do for this very first convention for Voltron was just make it a big 35th birthday party for Voltron, because it was the 35th anniversary of when the show came out in 1984.
And you've been privileged to have both experiences, right, of that 5-year gap, right? Because of your podcast is on 6 years, so you got the 30-year anniversary, and now you have the 35-year anniversary together with an event, right? Which is really cool.
Right. So it's always great to be able to, every 5 years, celebrate a really big anniversary and everything. So with the 30th anniversary, I was excited to be a part of the 30th anniversary celebration book, Voltron from Days of Long Ago, a 30th anniversary celebration. And now that I look back on that, I can't believe it's already been 5 years since that.
Yeah, well, time has sped up.
Yes. So here's the thing. We know that the biggest thing that we can hope for is probably coming soon for Voltron. We're either talking about either a live action television series or a live action movie. So we're waiting in the next 3 years. We're hoping to hear something about that.
Meanwhile, you're doing stuff on Toonban, right? So yes. I saw the interview you did with those that were celebrating the 20-year launch of Batman, right? Am I correct about that?
Yeah, that was the 20th anniversary of Batman Beyond.
Oh.
And that was with Will Friedle, who played Terry McGinnis, and Kevin Conroy, who played, obviously, Bruce Wayne in that one, the older Bruce Wayne.
How does it feel? Because I'm listening to it, and you're trying to transition between the face you usually see when you're hearing the voice with the face you're seeing as you're interviewing him. So how does it feel for you?
Oh, it feels great. I've interviewed Will Friedle about 3 times. I've interviewed Kevin Conroy about 4 or 5 times. And each time that I see these people, it's like seeing an old friend, even though we barely get any time with them at all. But with their whole body of work that we've been watching over the years and, obviously getting to know them face to face for just a few minutes, you do get to understand what kind of person they are. And they're just fun, interesting people. And that's why I like doing all these interviews and everything. We just did Rosario Dawson back at New York Comic Con this past year. Rosario Dawson was playing Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman Bloodlines.
Wow.
And she, of course, had her own live action movie that was coming out right around that time. It was Zombieland 2. So it was very cool to be a part of that at the same time that those other things are going on. And every time we do interviews with somebody new that we've never interviewed before, it's always an interesting experience. And these people are excited because they're doing an animated show.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're talking to live action actors who are doing animation either for the first time or for the first few times, it's new for them. So they're just as nervous as anybody else out there because they're not sure how they're going to come across in the animated world.
So are you able now to see the individuals and be like, all right, I'm guessing, right? My 80% guess is that this person is really going to move on and be this or that or into something else. Can you see that now? Do you see that happening?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I can tell you a number of the voice actors that we had interviewed for Voltron have gone on to much better and bigger things. And Zara Fuzzle is one of them. She had been just not even one of the main characters in Voltron, but she was one of the MFE pilots. She played Rizavi. And when she was doing that, she was also doing Young Justice, and she was playing Halo. And now she's got many more roles than she had before. She's doing video games, she's doing cartoons, she's doing all types of things now, even some live action work she's got now. So it's really cool to see their careers take off after Voltron.
Yeah, that's super cool. Now let's get into the personal side because digging in so deep into Voltron and having Toon Man, right? So your Toon Man to me is like the live version of what's done in the podcast, and a bit more expansive, right? Which is really
Yes.
cool. Which is really
Yes,
cool.
because we're live and in person at all the different conventions. There's always a chance to talk to people everywhere we go, and with these conventions and everything, we get face to face with all these people who are working on all these brand new animated shows.
How fun is that? Now your wife, right, or AKA camera woman, is right there with you, right?
Yes, my wife Kim is the camera person, and she does a terrific job taking both still photos and video everywhere we go.
Wow. So it's what, 17 years now? Is it 17 years that you both have been married?
We've been married 17 years. It'll be 18 in May.
All right. All
And of
right.
course, we were married on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Love that. And you named your son Lucas, right?
Yes, we named our son Lucas. That's right.
All of that
And
fits well together.
I got to tell you, it was so cool to see the end of the Skywalker saga. And my son, who's now 16, got to see the 7, 8, and 9 movies the same way that I got to see the 1, 2, and 3 movies, which was so awesome, like a generation later.
Yeah, yeah. It's really amazing how these things connect. More so when you commit to something on the level you've committed. And you can tell me if this is inaccurate, but I've found that you see these signs that give you confirmation that you are where you're supposed to be and you are doing what you're doing. Have you seen that occur in your life?
Oh yeah, all the time. It happens like there's numbers that are key. Like for us, it's like 11 and 23, and of course 4. And my son's number is 15 because he was born on the 15th. But all of these numbers always come into play, right? And then and then there's different things that we experience. And with the people either that we're interviewing or people that we've interviewed before, and then things that they're currently doing now, and then you see some of the things that are lining up, and you say to yourself, there's a possibility, a few years from now, we could be interviewing someone that is, not really famous right now, but at that time, a few years from now, they will be very famous.
Yeah, which is fun, right? It's like
Yes.
we've gotten in the industry stages, which is really fun. So, friend, again, I appreciate you tremendously. I appreciate you holding the torch, if you would, the Olympic podcasting torch, right? 6
Thank you,
years. Yeah,
Thank
they're
you.
just being faithful and consistent. I really, really appreciate that. I will never meet up to you, but I will definitely follow in your footsteps, just like the Rocky step, right?
Yes.
I'll be there. So you're 11, and I'll be right after. I'll be 12. Is that
All right.
okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
That's wonderful. Well, in closing, my friend, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Well, I did want to mention, you had mentioned about Will Friedle and Kevin Conroy in the Batman Beyond. I had just wanted to mention a real funny story. When we were at San Diego Comic-Con, Batman Beyond actually got into Hall H for their panel. And this was something unusual for any of the things that we've been covering because we usually don't do Hall H, and that's the big one that holds over 4,000 people in it. So we
Wow.
got to the Hall H just before the panel, and they were just finishing up the panel for Terminator Dark Fate. So Arnold Schwarzenegger was on stage with Linda Hamilton, and these are people we've been watching do Terminator movies for quite a long time. And then that panel ends, and in between panels, there's usually about, 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And during that time, Conan O'Brien comes out and he says, I'm going to introduce somebody to you who's a really big star and everything. And he introduces Tom Cruise.
Wow.
So it was a surprise that we all got to see Tom Cruise. And, we're only like 30 to 40 feet away from him.
Wow.
And we never expected to see Tom Cruise, but he's there to introduce the new trailer for his new movie, Top Gun Maverick, which is a long-time sequel that a lot of people have been waiting for. And of course, one of the scenes from the original movie was recorded right across the street at the Kansas City Barbecue in San Diego. So it was really interesting to find that happen. And then, the Batman Beyond people come on, and they talked about this even after this panel and everything, that things are really strange. And here you are celebrating the 20th anniversary of something that you didn't think you would ever celebrate. And then at the same time, you're meeting people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Cruise backstage.
Yeah, it's surreal, isn't it?
It's surreal. That's right. So even for them, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, which is really cool. I'm glad you brought that to the table. It's really important that we remain consistent, isn't it?
Right. So, we really enjoy what we're doing. We have a passion for what we're doing, and it's just fun. Fun to do.
It has to be fun. Again, amazing audience. You're hearing it live from Marc Morrell. You can check him out at letsvoltron.com or toonban.com. My friend, again, a pleasure, a treasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.